Thank you again, Prof. James Piscatori. Fellow panelists and friends, Dr. Malik and a few others that I've seen as coming from representing a state government, by the way, of Pakatan Raya. And surely, last but not least, all of you fellow Malaysians who have come around again to engage in this very engaging and intellectually, mutually stimulating discourse. And I must say, without any attempt at flattery, Prof. Piscatori, I'm time and time again, I seen your passion to. I'm not quite sure whether those around your counterparts around here in Malaysia, to have this, should I say, discourse in great depth, both breadth and depth, and whatever that I'm going to be commenting is not at all an attempt at at let alone discrediting or whatever that we have presented. It's very insightful. It's I must say it. Yeah, okay, it's okay. I'll take my shot at my own stride. No, I must say this. I must say that this is truly insightful and accelerating. Now, where do I come from? Now that I have no longer am the executive director of the Past Research Center, perhaps I'm in a way more liberated in that sense, to be speaking my mind without any, no, okay. No, I wouldn't say that. I'll be free to speak my mind. Yeah, Prof. And thanks again, Dr. Farouk, for inviting me. He attempt at provoking me. Okay, I would first, having said all that I've said about your presentation earlier, if I could quickly go into this here without doing much of my usual reverse gear kind of thing. Muslim thinkers have long argued that fundamental Islamic texts, as you have also alluded to it, I think, dealing with consultation and representation support both constitutional government and elections. Doubtless, beyond doubt. Yeah. Now, these compelling arguments have gained wide acceptance, along with commitment to pluralist systems in which anyone can run for office and losers peacefully turn over power to their successors. I think we have come a long way. I'm not here to, again, be dragged into debate of Islamic democracy. I think I have subsumed that. It goes without saying anymore. Yeah. Now I'm going to go into more, perhaps, contentious points on this. Yeah. I understand that even the word Islamic State, I think I've said that to Dr. Farouk for time again. It's a derivative coming a lot later. In fact, to be accurate, I think it was Rashid Ridha.
Exactly.
And nowhere in the textual, be it the Quran and as well the Sunnah, anything amounting to that word. However, the concept is there. Hence, if I could say, Islam has never and does not prescribe a governing form. I think that has got to be, what Islam prescribes are those that I've said, of principles, of equality, of justice and equality, the supreme purpose of the raison d'être of government, the raison d'être of government, and that is to establish justice. لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلهم الكتاب والميزان ليحكم بين الناس بالقسط. And that is the ultimate, objective, the supreme objective of Sharia is to establish justice. The form has never been prescribed, by the Quran, and in an attempt to model an Islamic government time and time again, the model of what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has always been taken as the benchmark, the model. However, given the context that Muslims are, post-independence, and within this era of what we could call, the era of democratization, we come face to face with the fact that how would then, Muslim, particularly if I may use the word Islamist, is that word understandable enough? If I say Islamist rather than Muslim, there's a big debate, there's a big discourse in itself. Islamism has always, again, not a coinage of not in the lexicology of Islam, actually. It's coming from the Western Islamic scholar. Yeah, particularly I think Islamism was it a coinage of Graham Fuller, or was it, would I say?
French, yeah.
Yes, a French, not Fuller, but who's the other guy? Graham, the other one, Failures of Political Islam? Oliver Roy. I could recall that he was among the first to be using the term Islamism. And Islamism, as opposed to Islam per se, is said to be an Islamic project of those who uphold Islamism, they are known as Islamists, to finally see Islam as the force, as the political force that runs and administers states and government. That is Islamism. And in the context of, in the historical narrative of this, what Prof. Piscatori alluded to earlier, in the earlier, after the downfall of the Ottoman Empire, the coinage was all about Islamic State. This idea of an Islamic State which has never been truly defined of what exactly it is, by way of forms and substance. A lot more substance rather than form. It's never been defined. So I would dare say that the attempt of Islamists, to be engaging in democracy, particularly now, is an attempt at realizing what Oliver Roy put it as an Islamic project called Islamism, meaning to finally see an establishment of Islamic government and governance. That is putting it very simply. So an Islamist is by definition one who is engaged in this Islamic project to see Islam, having a say, if not an entire say, to running of government and state. This is why you differentiate. This is why they differentiate Islam and Islamists and Muslim. I would want to contest that, though. By definition, Islam is by definition political per se at its outset. Hence the reason why Muslims keep supporting Islamists, because it is intrinsically political, much as it is in the other domains of life. Because Islam is, as you very well know now, is a way of life. It's the entire way of life that does not at all, for one moment, separates life mundane and life spiritual, and as well, to some extent, public and private, in a sense of Islam, governing those affairs of life. So we are in a way stuck. In a way, we face a situation of having to always be in a defensive situation of justifying, why you must be around here. As Islamists, once upon a time I was always told that past is good, but could you please put Islam aside? Then you'll be better. And I've always stated that if we put Islam aside, then we'll be worse than UMNO. Now, why am I saying this? Now, I will go into my point. Yeah, I will go into my. This is my thrust of my argument. Islam is as a perception problem by, insofar as vis-a-vis Western particularly Western Islamist scholar and as well Western civilization perhaps. Because Islamists, who's that guy? If I could quote him. Michael Rubin, yeah? Yeah, he's another Western Islamic scholar. You know, he put it very plain and perhaps loud and clear. Islamists are by definition intrinsically undemocratic. Prof. Piscatori, that's what he said. Why? I could understand his argument though, because Islamists represent a high authority that refuse popular rebuke and popular contestation or popular dissent. Because they speak for their high authority called Allah and God Almighty and representing Sharia. Therefore, the challenge is on Islamists to truly understand what it takes to be within political contestation. I think that is simplifying, and I would like to have this minimalist definition of this problem. To me, it boils down to the point that Islamists, when they come into political contestation, doesn't speak as a Democrat. They understand that within democratic contestation, yes, you represent God and the high authority called Sharia, but your advocacy, you must win through your advocacy through contestation that is based on your compelling argument. Why they must support you, why that they must mandate you for your superior policies and the efficacies of your policies, not because it is from God. Yes, as far as we Muslims are concerned, that is how. Otherwise, you will be going around to campaign. If you don't support me, you're going to hell, because I represent God. It's as simple as that. This is a challenge of Islamists. And I have no qualm to say that I'm an Islamist Democrat, and I understand truly what democracy demands. However, my advocacy would really rest on getting your mandate, not in the name of God, but in the name of democracy. For I believe my program, my policies, my worldview is not only superior, but efficacious in handling the human problems, the entire human problem of economic, finance, what have you. Only when Islamists are able to speak in this language, Prof, I believe half of the problem is done. However, the bigger challenge is, once Islamists get into power, will they remain democratic? Already before coming into power, they have exudated and they have exhibited, that illiberal, what is the word? Illiberal, tendencies, autocratic tendencies, yeah. That's part of my problem, even managing my own party. I hope that is a compliment rather than that is saying it, without qualms and without fear of favor. So I think I would take it at that for my first round. And I must say again that there are a few other things that I have not been able to touch on, and hopefully through this course, and I really look forward to this very, very stimulating intellectual engagement and discourse. Thanks again.